Hey guys, welcome back to UModeler. Unity is a great game engine, but with UModeler, it seems it's turning into a full-fledged 3D software. With the ability to 3D model, with editing faces and vertices and edges, and then even adding modifiers for like a non-destructive workflow, it's starting to really be a low-key sleeper. UModeler has released a new update that includes a beta version of its remesh tool, keeping in mind that this is beta and they are still working out some of the details to make it even better. With AI looming around the corner and people are now using meshes generated from it, being able to remesh an object is a natural step to help fix some of the mesh's details, making it a bit more uniform. Now, to follow along with me and try it out, there is a 45-day trial for UModeler, which is pretty long to play with features and to get some work done. I'll put a link in the description, and if you need help installing it, let me know. Otherwise, let's take a quick look at how to use it. All right, so taking a look at the scene here, I have 4 different items that we're going to use to try to remesh them. And all of these items, they came from a AI generated tool. And so what I'm going to do is try to change them and just see how they behave with the remesh tool. Now, remember, the remesh tool is currently in beta and it will get better and improve with new features and things like that over time. And so we just want to kind of get a general look at how it's going to work out. So I have this bear here. I have this nice little sports car here. And I have these 2 seating options. We have like a single chair and a bench. And they both are supposed to be representative of a wood type of seating here. And so, and they all come from different AI generated locations. So your mileage may vary depending on what which AI generated solution that you use. There's so many different ones out there now. So all right, so what I'm going to do is take this bear, for example, and the mesh right now looks okay. It looks pretty clean, but it's all triangulated, and we kind of want to clean it up and see how remesh kind of works. So the first thing you do is before you do anything, actually, you're going to want to convert your model into a UModeler X model. So this bear is already converted and this car is as well. But these chairs are not. So for instance, what you would want to do is right click there and go down to UModeler X and then UModelize that. When you click that, it's going to bring up a little bit of dialogue here. And it's basically saying, hey, it's currently in a prefab. What we're going to do is convert it, but we're going to basically unpack this prefab. Now, sometimes I unpack it before I do it, but either way it works. You can do proceed, and once you do that, it converts it. And the same thing with this chair. I'll just go ahead and do that. And as you can see, if I unpack it first, what I can do is do unpack completely. It unpacks it, and then if I go ahead and do UModeler X, do that, and then it completely converts it, and it takes a little bit of time. And then once that's done, then you have a mesh that's super, super detailed with a lot of weird geometry here. It looks cool like this kind of, but there's a lot of geometry to clean up. All right, so let's take a look at our bear. I suspect the bear is going to do fairly well in comparison to some of these other items. But to use the remesh tool, you want to go down with your item selected and you want to head over to the surface group. And here you'll see the remesh tool. Now remember, it is a beta tool, and anything with this little green icon here means that that item is in beta. All right, so what you do is click that, and once you click it, you're going to have a few options here. You're going to have the detail level, you have the preserve the sharp edges, and then you can change the type. So the levels are going to be auto, low, medium, high, and ultra. You can do a toggle this on or off, and then for the type, we can do quad, triangle, or a combination between the two. All right. So what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and just go straight to Ultra and see how this thing performs. And we'll also just put it on mix just to see what it looks like. All right, so once you do that, you hit execute. and this little dialog box pops up, gives you a little progress bar, and look at that. It looks pretty good, I would say, as a remeshed item right off the gate. And yeah, and that was the ultra detail, and that wasn't too bad. Now, if I do a Control Z, and let's switch it to leaving it on ultra, I'm gonna go to triangle, and I'm gonna hit execute, and it actually executes pretty quickly. That looks pretty good too, and that's not too bad as well. And I'm gonna do a Control Z. Now let's see what the quad does. So we're gonna do the same thing, and there we go. So yeah, they all seem to work out pretty well. Yeah, and then of course I'll go back and you can continue to kind of play with this to kind of see what result you want. But I'll just go ahead and go low, and let's go back to mixed and see what it does there. All right. Wow, that's not too bad. I actually like that pretty well. So I would say that this you could unwrap this. You can start cutting it and doing some things. Now, of course, if you really want to, you would want to do some more details to this. I could think of a few other options to do, but the truth is, this is actually pretty good. It's working great. And this is more of an organic model. So I feel that organic will probably work best. So let's take a look at the car and see how that performs. So I'm going to go back into object mode, and I'll go ahead and select the car. Now that looks pretty gnarly here. It's a bunch of different, the mesh is kind of weird, looks okay. But let's go ahead and remesh this one. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing, go to ultra, I'll go back to mixed, and I'll leave off the preserve of the sharp edges just to see the result. Hit execute. Interesting. All right. So it's not terrible. It's not great per se. But like I said before, I think organic models do much better. And of course, this is a beta tool, so this could improve. But let's go ahead and change this and do maybe a low. Hit execute. Wow. Yeah, pretty low quality there in terms of the mesh. You could use this to kind of start the cleaning up. Again, it gives you a general shape. Maybe you can use this. Maybe we can then go in and start getting rid of some things and start working from it. So it's not completely unusable, but definitely something you want to think about when utilizing and doing these sorts of things. So let's move on and take a look at the chair. So I'll go ahead and select the chair. Now this one's pretty dense as well. Now what's really amazing is how dense these objects are, but they're working really well within the Unity engine, and UModeler is handling it with no problems whatsoever. You could even still go in and select a face here. I'm not saying that you would want to do this because this would be ridiculous to model on something like this, but you can see that the performance is pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and go down to remesh, and I'll just go ahead and go ultra and do mixed as well and execute. And let's kind of see what the result is with this one. And this one's a little more denser than the other ones, took a little longer. All right. All right, we're still good. We still got good control. All right, that's not too bad. We have some holes here, so that's probably not great. Maybe we want to clean it up. Not sure how you would want to handle that, but right out the gate, is it usable? I would say you would have to do some editing to it. Nothing that you couldn't handle with UModeler, but definitely you would want to work on some of that. I'm gonna go back and let's go ahead and do low. This one's probably going to be really bad, but we definitely want to check it out and see. All right. It wasn't as bad as I thought. Low actually gives a pretty decent result. And we still have to fix and clean up some things, but it's not entirely bad, so you could still utilize it. Now, the funny thing is we could actually apply it again to this mesh. So I can have it selected again, and I can hit execute, and let's see if it reduces it again. Well, there you have it. So yeah, we can continue to reduce it Now we're getting more of a shape here. So if your goal was to maybe not model a chair from scratch, but use something like this just to get a general like silhouette, and then you can go in and manipulate this. We could easily delete half of the chair and do a mirror and really start to work it. So that's a real possibility. So there's a few different things that we could do here. So I would say that's a positive outlook on that. And yeah, it just requires some cleanup, but that's the whole point. UModeler is also a modeling tool set. So yeah, you can do that. Let's take a look at the last one here and see how that one performs. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit on the remesh tool, and again start with ultra, hit mixed, and let's see how this one performs. This one's pretty dense as well. So, and I've been waiting for a remesh style tool in Unity, so I'm glad that UModeler added this. It's pretty nice to have this in Unity. I don't think I've seen it anywhere else. All right, so now we have that done. And if we zoom in, this one's a bit more rough around the edges. And so again, I think it's really gonna come down to what are you getting out of the generated mesh when you're generating like an AI mesh in this case. So I think this one's a little rough. And let's see here. And I think a lot of it has to do with how it represents the wood. So it's trying to like work with the wood in the way that the grain is, because I think some of the material is kind of going up and down, trying to imitate that the way wood works, right? So that one's a little harder to really get behind. Let's see, I'm gonna go low and see what the execution is on this one. It may take a little bit longer. That was pretty quick, I think. All right, so this one's a little better, but again, it still requires some cleanup, quite a bit actually, of cleanup for this particular model. But if we hit the execution again on this particular chair, I would probably cut it in half first and then mirror it and then fix some of these holes and start to work at it that way. So that's, I mean, again, it's all about, did it help you get to the shape that you're looking for? Is that really how you want to use it? Is that even the point? It's just different ways to approach it. So, other than that, I think that's a success in my book. I think it does generally the job. I think it works really well on organic shapes. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Well, other than that, I would love to hear what you guys think of having a remesh tool in Unity. That's pretty unique, I think. And if you guys have any comments, please leave them in the comment section and let me know. I'm also in Discord. And again, if you want to try this out, you can try it out right now. All you got to do is use an email. It doesn't require any payments or anything. It's pretty much free for like a month and a half. So you can just go in there and try it out for 45 days. But other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video.